If you are like the rest of us, you definitely have dreams. So I want to ask you, what are your dreams and what are your goals? Are you just wishing and hoping, or are you putting in the work to build and achieve them? I, for a fact, know that goals only work if you put in the work. So on days when you don't feel like it, that's when you actually need to remind yourself to get out of your feelings, because to achieve any goal, you're going to definitely need help. And people are not going to work with or help someone out that has frequent meltdowns, freakouts, holds grudges, and is all in their feelings. So you have to be bigger than that. You have to be bigger than your feelings. Big enough to understand that the dreams that God or the universe has placed in your heart are not going to come to pass without that opposition, without the delays. And I know normal people would give up considering the stress that you are on, but you aren't them. You want it on another level, a higher level, a bigger level, and that's what I want to share with you today. How badly do you want what God has put in your heart, what the universe has in fact called you to do? You may have been overcome by challenges, you have let circumstances push you down, people talk you out of your dreams, or just simply do not have the strength to sustain the growth that you are on. But I want you to know that you need to be more determined than the opposition. Because if you give up every time things do not go your way, then you didn't want it bad enough. You have to be willing to do what other people won't do, to do it when other people may not believe, when it looks impossible. Because one of the saddest things I know is to come to the end of your life and wonder what you could have become. The what ifs of regret, in other words, where you would have been, what you could have done, what you could have got, all those regrets. I'm here to tell you, you can start right now. The only question you need to ask yourself is, how badly do you want it? Hello, listeners. Welcome back to the podcast where we talk about pursuing greatness, living with intention, and turning dreams into reality. I am your host, Raymond, and today on the 5 to 9 job, we are diving into a question that will challenge you, inspire you, and maybe even make you a little uncomfortable. The question is, how badly do you want it? I, over the years, have been discouraged, frustrated, and ready to just about quit many times in my life. Life throws so many obstacles in your way, and it's so tempting to just say, maybe this just isn't for me, or I don't belong here. That imposter syndrome starts to hit in. But here's the truth, your dreams and whatever you are working on are valid, but they come at a price, a very expensive price, if I might say. The question, therefore, to ask yourself in these tough times is that when what is on sale is your success, is our success, are we willing to pay the price? Are we willing to cash in our efforts, cash in our beliefs and relationships to get this one thing that we want? Because I personally really didn't think about this until I noticed a pattern in me where I would fail and then retreat and wasn't really getting anywhere further or anywhere close to where I really needed to be. But then I started to see this consistent theme and I noticed it, and then I started to try to address it. Through this, I came across a brilliant interview with an English sports psychologist and a former basketball coach, Bill Beswick, on YouTube. The video was titled Inside the Mind of a Winner, and I'll link it below. But he had an easy framework for this. He just had 3 questions that he would ask someone that he was training, or someone that wanted something, or someone that wanted to be the best, someone that wanted to achieve greatness. He would ask them, what do you want? So what do you want? You talk about what you want and you gain clarity. how bad do you want it? And 3, how much are you willing to give up for that one thing? This video actually resonates with this Alex Hormozi mantra of this is what hard feels like. After you have decided you want more, you have it at the back of your mind already that you are going to have to do the work.
Yeah, people only root for those who don't need to be rooted for. And so I just asked them a couple questions. I was like, who here before pledging started was like, I want to be a part of this house? The guys were like, me. Okay. I'm like, okay, got it. Who here thought it was going to be easy? Who here thought it would be hard? They raised their hands. I'm like, guys, this is what hard feels like. And all of a sudden there's just like this big exhale in the room. They're like, expectations get reset. This is normal. You wanted this thing. You expected it to be hard. Reality now matches conditions. Sorry, expectations now match conditions. This is what hard feels like. And then all of a sudden it's like they got permission to feel shitty. And by getting permission to feel shitty, they stop feeling it. And the next one is like, what if we confront it and say like, what if they're right? Now what?
You don't expect it to be easy. You actually go in knowing it's going to be hard. So when it is hard, it is actually what you expected. So instead of crying about how hard it is when you are failing, that's actually when you're supposed to remind yourself that this is what I expected and this is reality, when expectation meets reality. It could be in anything. It could be in a job, it could be in a team, it could be that you want to win a match. When you have to train as hard as you can to be able to run as fast as you need, to win a big game, to deliver a product, to deliver a proposal. We knew that it was going to be hard. So why are you blaming people, saying people are out to get you, that things are not working out, that you are not worth being there? No, this is exactly what you expected, exactly what you asked for. So expectations at that point match reality. And the important thing is that it will work if you work. And the hard truth is that most times what you are feeling can be the real enemy to your progress. Let me explain this. Yes, we all get discouraged. We all have moments where things fail and we feel overwhelmed. But you can't let those emotions dictate your actions. Just think about it. Would you want to work with someone who is constantly emotional, holding grudges, having meltdowns? Probably not. And if that's what you bring to the table, you are just sabotaging yourself in the most basic way. So one is that it doesn't help when you give in to those feelings of discouragement and self-pity. You just need to pick yourself up and keep your back straight. You just charge through. You have to be bigger than your feelings, because success doesn't care, unfortunately, about how you feel. Dreams don't just land in your lap because you have wished hard enough and hoped, or because you are talented. No, there is going to be opposition, and it's actually part of the journey. It's actually not about if it happens, but when it happens, because it will happen. Just ask anyone. Opposition is always going to be there. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel everything weighing down on you, and you will need help, because the dreams God or the universe put in your heart won't come to pass without resistance. There will always be delays, there will always be challenges, and people who do not believe in you. But those obstacles aren't there to stop you. If you can just switch your mindset and see that they are there to shape you, to make you tougher, to change something in you, to grow you so that you can face even tougher challenges, then you have a far better chance of winning at the rest of your life in so many other things than if you just keep on giving up. Because if you give up after the first try, or even after the 30th try, what does that say about how badly you wanted it? Because I know at some point maybe everyone else would quit, but you are not just everyone else. if you are listening to this, you want something more, you want something bigger. So just sit down and ask yourself, how badly do you want it? How badly do you want to change the lives of the people you love? Is it bad enough to do the work, to read the books, to wake up early, to work out so you are healthy, to save and build this financial wall around them that nothing can get through? How bad do you want to get out of debt, let me say? Is it bad enough to skip that night out, to cook at home instead of eating out, or to drive an older car instead of buying something new to prove to no one in particular nothing that really matters? Or bad enough to stay disciplined when it's inconvenient, bad enough to push through the frustration and the failure, bad enough to keep going when everyone else would quit? How bad do you want that promotion? Is it bad enough to show up early, stay late, and learn a skill that you don't have, make the right connections, do that master's program? How bad do you want also your relationship to work? Is it bad enough to apologize first when it wasn't actually your fault? Enough to walk away from the wrong crowd for your partner? Enough to trust them first, to love them first, even when you might get hurt? Everything that is going to be remotely meaningful to you, you're going to need to ask yourself how badly you want it and match those expectations to the work. Put in the work. Greatness doesn't come without sacrifice. It's literally not about what you are willing to do when the things are easy. It's all about what you are willing to do when the things get hard. So don't get complacent. Escape that trap, because like I said at the beginning, one of the saddest things in life is looking back and wondering, what if? What if you would have left those toxic friends who kept dragging you down? What if you would have taken that leap of faith in your career? What if you had just pursued the dream instead of settling for mediocrity? This is not to scare you, and in fact, I want to tell you that you don't have to wonder about all that. You can just start today. You can take action, start today, and start however scrappy you can. Because just like James Clear says in Atomic Habits, every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. So start to work out those habits that are going to build you towards the things that you want. What are you really voting for? Are you taking the action, or are you voting for a life full of excuses and regrets instead of a life filled with passion and purpose? So you just need to stop wishing and work on your dreams, work them into existence. You see, a wish is passive. It's something that you hope happens. A dream, on the other hand, is active. It's something you work for, you sacrifice for, and believe in strongly, even when it seems impossible. Faith without works is dead. And people who succeed aren't always the most, talented or most fortunate. Though I do know luck and talent are important, but many times they just simply want it more than others. And I actually want to play a clip from this interview, just that section like we usually do for the other podcasts. So let's have a listen at Bill Basic, and then I'll be back to conclude the episode.
So that you get athletes who just turn up. They'll turn up, they'll do the requisite amount of work, but that's it. Athletes who turn up to compete, they put a bit more effort in. They try to be the best amongst their group. Then there's the athletes who train to win. They train every day, every session, so that they win on match night. And then there are just those very few players who train to dominate. They train so hard that winning is inevitable on race night. And my three questions are, what do you want? How badly do you want it? And how much are you willing to suffer? And very often, everything revolves around the first question, what do you want? Because a lot of people are unclear what they want from life. They don't sit down and think through. We are writing our own life story every day, and yet we don't think about it. Who do we want to be? Where do we want to live? What life do we want to lead? When we've finished our life, come to the end of our life and look back, what do we want to say that we've done? So, what do you want is a very powerful question. And then, if an athlete says, I want to be the best, Bill, fine. How badly do you want it? Because you've got to pay a price to be the best. The best pay a big price. You've got to work harder, you've got to commit more, you've got to take more responsibility, you've got to deal with more ups and downs. And if we can deal with that question, how much are you willing to suffer? Because I work with gold medal champions, and they suffer every day. They work enormously hard. They sacrifice enormous things in order to get that success. I wake up every morning and don't let the old man in. And that's life. We wake up every morning and make a decision who we're going to be. I've got Parkinson's disease, so getting up in the morning is not so easy for me. Getting dressed is not so easy. I have to make a decision. Am I going to be a fighter today, or am I going to be a victim? There's a great phrase, genetics deals the cards, environment plays the hand. So genetics and your background does influence your disposition to success in various activities. Another great thing I wrote once was, there's 1,000 excuses, but not a single reason. I did that with Bristol Bears rugby last season. They loved it. When you step into the challenge zone, the number of excuses for getting out, back into your comfort zone from there, multiplies. I'm too tired. It's too difficult. I'm having a bad day. Nobody likes me. And so I would teach them to face up to those excuses and refuse to be a victim, and teach them a fighter mentality about all those things may be there, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to deal with it. So 1,000 excuses, but not one reason not to achieve. And even if you don't achieve at the highest level, you may not have the same genetic disposition as somebody else. But there's an awful lot of players playing in the Premier League football in this country who are B for talent, not quite as genetically superior, but A for attitude. And attitude is something anybody can have. Anybody. So there's a very big crossover between situations in sport and situations in life. I mean, in a sense, we're all high performers. We all step up every day to earn a living, to maintain relationships, to take the responsibility of owning property, to raise children. We're all high performers. So the lessons of my high performers in sport carry across into life.
So, one last time, how badly do you want it? You don't have to figure it all out today, but just take the next step. Show up, do the work. Make sure you do the work. Thank you for tuning into this episode. If the message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs that push. Do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, and let's keep pushing for greatness together. Until next time.